They're not your traditional light strip, they're not Christmas lights, they're kind of their own thing. They're Dots by Twinkly. And today we're gonna see just what makes them so different and determine if they might actually be better than a traditional light strip for your smart home setup. Let's go. Yo, what's up guys? My name is Shane if you're new here, and this channel is all about building an easy smart home using Apple's HomeKit, with new videos published every Sunday and live streams every Wednesday. So Twinkly sent me their new Dots flexible LED string, as they call it. You'll get amazing effects and features with these things, just like the Twinkly Smart Christmas lights, which I've been using for the past few years now and love. So my daughter is actually in the process of giving her room, a whole makeover. She's ready for more of a big girl room, I guess you could say. So I actually thought these Dots just might work perfectly for her setup. You know, all the youngins these days, they want light strips around the entire perimeter of the room. If you have teens or preteens, you probably know what I'm talking about. And honestly, I'm a big fan of light strips too. I use them all over the place, all over my house for accent lighting and bias lighting. But I've always said that light strips are best, in my opinion, when they're hidden and, only the light from those LEDs are shown. Things like under kitchen cabinets, behind TVs, under a desk, stuff like that. And to me, that's where these Twinkly Dots really stand out from your traditional light strips, or at least so it seems when looking at the marketing, put out by Twinkly. All their photos show these things as being exposed, not hidden like you would often do with light strips, and they seem to actually look pretty nice when they're exposed. Again, unlike traditional light strips. But do they really in real life? That's what I wanted to find out. So we're gonna get these working in HomeKit and then put them in her newly painted room. We'll check out all the awesome effects we can do with these and see just how good they look installed in the real world. But first, let me tell you about today's sponsor, trendmicro. Now, I've been using the premium security suite for the past 2 or 3 years to protect all of my family's devices against malware, viruses, ransomware, and other threats, and I definitely recommend it. You can use this for up to 10 devices, and it's super easy to set up and protect all the devices in your household. iPhones, iPads, laptops, it's on all of my devices. It also turns any public hotspot into a secure Wi-Fi connection with a VPN, which is really important to have when you're, out and about using those public Wi-Fi networks. You also get access to other great tools with the suite, like identity theft protection, parental controls, and even 24/7 emergency assistance. Check out the link in the description and use code SHANE10 for 10% off your purchase of the premium security suite. Big thanks to trendmicro for protecting all of my devices for so long and for supporting this channel. The Twinkly Dots come in a very nicely designed package. Definitely feels like a premium product. There's a few options. You can get the 10-foot or 3-meter string with 60 LEDs for $49.99. A 33-foot or 10-meter string with 200 LEDs for $114.99, or a 66-foot or 20-meter string with 400 LEDs for $174.99. You can order them with either a black wire or a clear wire, which is great. Love the options that are available so you can get something, that best suits your setup. Unfortunately, the 400 LED version is not available in the US just yet at the time of recording, but hopefully it will be soon. Now, it does seem a little pricey, but let's break that down a little bit. Let's say you got the mid-range version, the 33-foot string for $115. That's the one that I have here. If you wanted to cover the same distance with something like, the popular Nano Leaf light strip, maybe you want that HomeKit Control, and Nano Leaf also has some cool effects. For the same coverage, you'd need their starter kit plus 8 extensions, costing you a total of $210. That's $210 for the 10 meters of the Nano Leaf versus $115 for 10 meters of the Twinkly Dots. On top of that, you can double that length of the Dots with the 400 LED version, costing only $175. you know, if you can get a hold of them. That's twice as much coverage and still a bit cheaper than 10 meters of the Nanoleaf light strips. And what I like, it's all on one string, meaning only one controller and one plug needed for that very long, you know, strip of lights. Now, I'm a fan of the Nanoleaf and many other light strips, don't get me wrong, but this is just something to point out, you know, if you end up liking the look of these twinkly dots, because often length, coverage, and you know, that power supply are big factors when you're looking at your setup. With these, you might be able to get more coverage for less money. And with that 400 LED 66-foot option, which isn't available yet in the US, like I said, I would actually be able to wrap the border of her entire room with just one strand and actually have a good bit left over. Again, I couldn't get a hold of that 400 strand, so I'm gonna be using 2 of the 200 LED 33-foot strands for her room. These do support HomeKit, but as you can see, it's not currently listed on the box. HomeKit was actually a fairly recent addition to the Twinkly lineup, so that's been pushed out via firmware, and I'm guessing that's why you're still not seeing it on the box. But as you can see, it does also support the Google and Amazon assistants as well as Razer Chroma, but we'll be focusing on the HomeKit integration today as usual. In the box, we have our manual and a pretty nice little note giving you some more information about the company. We got some stickers and the lights themselves with an attached controller, a separate power brick, and also we get these little pill-shaped stickers that we can use for a clean installation. I'll connect the power adapter and plug it in so I can pair them in the Twinkly app. You'll basically connect them to your 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network, and once successfully paired, you can control the lights and effects via the app. To pair to HomeKit, you may first need to do a firmware update. Once the lights firmware is up to date, you'll see the HomeKit option under the lights settings. Tap Add Devices to Home to enable HomeKit, and you can add it to your HomeKit setup right there in the Twinkly app. Rename them if you want to, and then go through the familiar HomeKit steps. And now if we open up the Home app, you can see our lights have been added successfully to our HomeKit Home. Now I will say that I had a little bit of trouble adding these both to my Wi-Fi network and to HomeKit for whatever reason, but with a little bit of patience, I was able to get everything set up, and I haven't had any issues at all with connectivity or anything like that since. Again, I'll be putting these around the entire perimeter of her room, and I'll be using 2 of the 200 LED strings. Installation was very easy. I decided to use the little pill-shaped double-sided stickers to just get the cleanest installation possible, and the one thing I do like is that these are just easier to work with and manage, you know, during installation than a lot of light strips. So if you've ever used the Twinkly Christmas lights or watched my past videos on any of those, you'll be familiar with the effects and what you can do with these. The really great thing about Twinkly lights is they have a mapping feature that allows you to map your specific lighting setup, making the effects look even better. They have an easy mapping feature and an advanced mapping feature, which is better for more like 3D or complex setups. You can combine multiple strands of lights like I've done here and have the effects all run together. You can browse through the effects gallery, download new effects for free from the effects store, and even create your own custom effects. Of course, you can control the color and brightness, and you can even use the Twinkly music device sold separately that allows you to sync your lights with the music. Now in HomeKit, you can control the brightness and the color of your dots. There is no way to control the effects though, unfortunately, through HomeKit. The lights will default to the last used effect though, so you know, if you have an effect that you prefer to use most of the time and include your dots in a HomeKit scene or something like that to turn on, when you run your scene, it will default to the last effect used, if that makes sense. Really wish there was some way to access or utilize those effects through HomeKit, but we can't. Overall, I really do like the form and function of these lights. I do in fact think they look better when exposed than your traditional light strips. And of course, if you wanted to hide these behind or under things, you could also do that and still get the benefit of all those awesome effects. They seem to be very durable, just like the original smart Christmas lights that I've used, and they're just really easy to work with. You can use them more like fairy lights for some really cool creative setups, and the fact that they are compatible with HomeKit is fantastic. That means I can automate them with my other HomeKit accessories and scenes. I can include them in my daughter's little bedtime scene, and she can control them with Siri on her HomePod as well. It is a little disappointing that there is no way to access or control the effects in HomeKit, either through, a custom attribute exposed to HomeKit or through some sort of scene integration, which is kind of like what Nanoleaf does. With Nanoleaf lights, you can actually sync your effects as scenes in HomeKit, so something like that would have been really great. I'd love to see Twinkly push out a firmware update giving us that type of feature in the future. But my daughter is super thrilled with these overall, and so am I. Like we discussed earlier, I think the amount of coverage that you can get with these for the price is very good. Let me know what you think below in the comments. How do you compare these to something like traditional light strips, and what cool ways would you use and automate something like this in your smart home? If you do want to see a video on another pretty cool affordable light strip, check out this video right here. That was actually done in my daughter's room previous to her little room makeover. Really cool light strip there. And if you're new to HomeKit and smart home stuff, then check out my first 3 videos of my HomeKit 101 playlist right here. That'll give you everything you need to know about HomeKit. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.